Welcome to the Lost Lowdown, podcast 157, with your hosts, Claude and Justin.
What's up, guys?
We're back, continuing our Season 4 commentary series with episode 402, Confirmed Dead.
Oh, no.
They're all dead.
Confirmed.
We knew
Confirmed
it.
dead.
All along, they were confirmed dead.
Last time, it was confirmed horse. This...
No, it's confirmed dead.
I'll never get over confirmed horse. Love that.
Oh,
We can confirm that it was a horse.
no. May or may not.
Yeah, confirmed dead. This is a huge one, actually.
This is a big one. This is a lot is going on here. This was, so memorable to me when this first aired, and this whole time in the show when it was. I mean, after that break and season 4 starting and the whole we got to go back. I mean, like all of this was just fun. It was just completely like, I can't wait. What's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
how are all these chess pieces that are the Losties gonna get organized in such a way, and then like that whole thing with there's a secret, like they have this whole they're hiding a thing,
Yeah.
So I remember all of this stuff being really, really interesting.
Yeah. We're wondering, like, what's going on with this freighter, and I think it's also unique in terms of just general, like, Lost history. I believe this is the first episode where we have sort of multi-character flashbacks. I mean, it's the beginning of season 3. You have the kind of Juliet thing before they go into Jack's flashback. That's kind of a special case because it was just the teaser. But in this case, the whole episode, they're flashing back to basically all the people from the freighter that come, to the island in this episode.
Yeah, it was very cool to see these people and like quickly get a sense of why they're there.
And they tell us something crazy about all of them.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I guess it makes sense that it's their first flashback. Like, they're going to tell us, like, the craziest thing about them, to build intrigue about their characters. But each one, like, has some, pretty significant, like, strangeness to it. That was good, because, again, it's an example of Lost sort of. The big thing at the end of season 3 was, we have to go back. They got off the island. We know that's going to happen. They've already now introduced this Oceanic 6 idea. We know Hurley also left, so all that's on the table. But now they're going to say, but there's more going on than just they get off. Like, these people, this freighter, this is weird. This is crazy. And they're giving you, like, things to think about that you didn't think should matter. Like, who are the people on the freighter? I mean, to some extent, you want to know that.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you wouldn't necessarily think it would be this strange.
Well, and I don't think you see it coming that they're introducing new main characters and people who have this history with the island that the Losties don't have,
And these people are going to go pretty long. Charlotte cuts out a little early in season 5, but, Faraday makes it all the way to the end of season 5, and then fucking Frank and Miles are there till the bitter end. So they were, for real characters that, I don't think, certainly I know when I watched this originally and I saw those flashbacks, I never would have thought those characters would be that, enduring.
I kept thinking Jeff Fahey was just like, hey, just a guest star, and he'll be on for a couple episodes, maybe through the season, and then that's it. And it's just like, Frank was so cool. He came out of, I feel like he just came out of nowhere and was just like a character you just liked instantly.
Yeah.
And like, he never did anything that spectacular.
No. And he never cared about the island mysteries or, he never did anything really big to advance the plot. Like, he was a pilot. I mean, I feel like that was his main function in terms of the plot.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there, and yet there is, you like him for some reason. It's weird. There's something, I don't know. There's something charming about his character that is I don't know. I guess it's down to some extent what the actor's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Miles and then of course Faraday Daniel was
Yeah.
just like one of the coolest new characters, And this is really kind of like the other 48 days, but like
Yeah.
in a different context of just like, hey, here's a bunch of new characters and here's their flashbacks and this is what happened and yeah, so much cool stuff right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess like it also makes the episode feel fast, I think. At least I remember it feeling that way. We'll see how it goes when we actually watch it, but you know, ordinarily since it's one flashback or flash forward or whatever per episode,
Hmm.
you get multiple scenes, you switch back and forth between the islands. And in this one, we kind of just get, I think, maybe one or two scenes with each character. And so it's just like, um, you know, all the stuff they do with them has something interesting going on because they don't have time to do throwaway scenes,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and I sort of like that. I mean, like, if they gave them all it would take like 4 episodes to get all these characters introduced,
Hmm.
So it's kind of it's a nice device, I think, to give us a little something about all of them that they can then expand on later
Yeah, because
individually if they want to.
we're just immediately on board towards understanding these characters and liking them
Yeah,
and they don't have to waste time. I mean, that's the thing with Lost we keep talking about is how they really like to pile on things and
yeah,
they don't want to waste any time, especially these shorter seasons
yeah.
now.
And it's like the thing is with a wider view, like these 4 people are not even the whole story of the freighter.
Hmm. Oh
The
yeah.
freighter's got more shit going on it.
Yep.
It's that's beyond this. So it's like, yeah, they really pack those things full because it could have been so much simpler. You
Yeah.
know, they didn't have to do it this way, but yeah, it's huge, and I think it's I also like, at least for me, there's an expectation after a premiere, especially, I mean, watching the last episode, it seems like really fast paced. The thing I'll never get over is cutting away from the cabin. Like
Hmm.
that's hilarious. I didn't remember that they did that, and it's like, no, there's
Which
too
part?
much going on. We can't stay with the cabin. We gotta have
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. The
which
cabin is just a B story.
the cabin is the B story. It's like, what? The cabin is the B story, but that's how it is. That's how that episode is. And
Hmm.
so, generally speaking, I expect, the episode after that to be kind of a cool down, but that's not really how this one is.
Yeah.
It's really more 3 or 4 where it starts to be a little calmer.
Eggtown.
Eggtown, the infamous Eggtown.
Yeah. What is
And
this? Eggtown?
looking at me like
What's
this
the
is some,
line?
looking at me like this is some kind of
Some
Eggtown.
kind of Eggtown. Wow.
Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird one. They don't like. I don't know. I mean, like most of their titles are pretty straightforward and logical. When they go for something like that, I have to wonder what they were thinking.
Do the Brits say Eggton?
I hope so.
I hope so too. Eggton's
Eggton.
better.
Eggton. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, looking at me like some kind of Eggton. Craziness. Yeah, this whole science team thing. I mean, the fact that we have a science team, I mean,
Yeah.
is because that's what we wanted. I mean, we wanted someone. You remember when like Jack and Saeed in season 2 are like crawling under the swan,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like the necklace moves with the magnetism stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like that's what I want. I want them to go on science expeditions to
Right.
figure out how things work.
Yeah, like they
Uh,
didn't really have anyone to take that a step further, to really
yeah,
like figure out like what's going on there. And yeah, that was a big deal. You're right, because it actually, except for Frank, who's obviously the pilot, the rest of them have like a specific sort of sciencey. I mean, Miles is a little weird, but science-ish like specialty
hmm
that could be relevant for the island. And certainly like Miles's thing, from what we've seen, should also be relevant for the island because
yeah.
there's some weird shit with dead people on the island, no question.
hmm
And we know that at this point. And I remember being really excited, about like Charlotte doing like archaeology expedition.
Yeah, she was gonna come dig some shit up.
And like, yeah, Dan was gonna figure out why the light doesn't scatter right, and
Yep.
you're gonna find out all these crazy physics properties, and
And then
oh, the
they would
hopes.
write them all on a list on a board so for us to see, and then they would sit down for several
Yep.
episodes and brainstorm on what kind of place this is based on all these results,
Yeah,
you
exactly,
know. And it was
exactly.
gonna be nice and tidy
And then
and
they're gonna
clean.
publish their results, and
Closer, well, it'll get peer reviewed,
of course,
and
it takes a long time. It could be like a year, year and a half,
okay,
but
yeah, it's not bad, yeah.
eventually,
Yeah, and eventually it'll show up in a textbook that we can order,
yeah, that
and
nobody will actually read.
that no one will actually read.
It's like
Uh,
the
yeah,
series
they
is
will
over.
know.
Thank you.
Then thank you. We just gave it to you.
But yeah, you do expect like something significant to come. Like obviously they're not gonna do like for real science because like for real science just isn't very cinematic, sadly.
hmm hmm
Um,
Ouch! Take that,
no
scientist.
offense, sorry guys. But
Your career is not fun to look at.
it's just yeah. I mean, there's just a lot about it that's just not that entertaining. But I thought we'd have some movie science, and I guess like the closest we get to that is that whole payload rocket thing, which I think is in the
Yeah,
next episode.
yeah.
And that experiment makes no fucking sense.
I can't wait to see it again and spend a lot of time trying to figure it out.
And so it was like finally like the experts have arrived and like now we can
Yeah.
and like they'll discover something, something that they can present in an accessible fashion to the
hmm
audience, that will be like something that our characters from 815 couldn't really figure out because they wouldn't really know, they
Yeah.
wouldn't have the knowledge and the right things to look for, you
Yeah. Exactly.
know. And
Well,
that
and
doesn't
I'm
really
just
happen.
think, I'm just thinking how I can just picture because I feel like this was a Damon idea. I can
Yeah.
just picture him pitching to the writers, guys. What if in season 4 we have a science team come to the island to do science and they don't figure out anything? Like I feel like he said that. I feel like he would love that. That whole idea of
Definitely.
like going through the motions and having everything you need to get an answer and getting no answer. Like that's is so lost.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a small version of this on Leftovers. So
He likes that.
I could totally see, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I mean, and I think it fits well with, what the theme of the show is because, to a certain extent, like science is our attempt to overcome this
Yeah,
not knowing anything problem.
yeah. Yeah.
And it works to some extent. We do learn things at least, but
Mhm.
there still remains always like tons of stuff that we don't really understand.
Yeah, and basically coming up with pretty much nothing to say about the island, what or just strange things you couldn't explain about the island, is basically saying, the island is beyond our science, so it's
Yeah,
beyond what humans can know. It's beyond the realm of our knowledge,
yeah,
and and then we get to the light cave, and it's that same thing again. Another metaphor of that, of like what's in there is this thing we can only describe with metaphors.
right. Right.
because it's just so different and so beyond what we can just like describe easily.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and it's very cool. I mean, that's a uh, as a part of the mythology on the show, like that's just a very cool thing to be writing in is this it's kind of like sci-fi in a way or fantasy,
Yeah.
this idea of
Definitely.
of a place that is really unique and I mean I guess it's it makes me think of the Dark Tower or something,
Yeah. Totally.
like these places that are mysterious.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that was somewhere in there in terms of the
Hmm.
inspiration um, for how they would portray it. Because yeah, that sort of unknowable mystical thing that somehow like contains everything, but
Hmm.
you can't really explain what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think that that really frustrated people because a different kind of story could say that the island was a spaceship or the island was a time machine from built by scientists in the future, or you know what I mean, like something that we could understand.
Yeah.
And a different story that wasn't about what Lost is about could have ended that way. Um, and I do think some people like wanted something like that.
Hmm.
I mean, we were talking about Lost Island as a spaceship until pretty deep in season 6, I think.
Yeah.
It was like because you knew like something was coming, you know, and you don't really expect the something to be like, well, here's this one woman's like vague interpretation, and
Yeah.
that's your big answer.
Yep. Your big answer is what Allison Janney said.
Allison Jennings. Yeah, that's not when we signed on, like that's not how we thought the big answers were gonna come.
Uh-huh.
And so I think that was the source of disappointment. But on the other hand, like if you're watching the show and you understand what they're trying to say, then it really has to be something like that. It can't be a simple explanation like a spaceship or whatever.
Hmm.
You know?
Because that is within our realm of knowledge. Like
Totally.
we understand what that is, even if it's an alien spaceship or from another dimension. Like it's still super grounded.
It's very easy to conceptualize. Like we have spaceships that we make. Maybe they're not super advanced or whatever, but we can fly in space.
Hmm.
So it's not. Yeah, I mean it's a well, you know, covered topic and in sci-fi and stuff. And yeah, I think they really wanted to get more abstract than that.
Hmm.
And just there's this. I mean, it's light. Like it's fucking light.
Yep.
Just like, what is that? Well, it's light.
It's like something. It's something that emanates light. Like it's. Yeah. Are you happy now?
And there's something in the water too, I guess.
There's
That work for you? But don't
something.
go
Yeah.
in there because
Because
it's
that's
really
the
bad.
light. It's the light and the water. Like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or is it the light gives the water or power or vice versa? Or
That's
both
kind of what I always
separately?
assumed is the water flows through the ground and so it picks up energy from the light.
Yeah.
But what's the light? Is the light the magnetism?
But
Um,
yeah, I mean, that's what it sort of seems like. Or at least like the magnetism comes from the light.
yeah. Well, there's a word called unknowability, and I really think that sums up what the area that and the big theme that's playing out on Lost.
Yeah.
Uh, and it makes sense with the title is getting to a point or a place where you can't understand it, but you still have to react and try to survive in it, which is a great. I mean, it's one of my favorite premises. We always talk about that with the Twilight Zone, just like people waking up in a room, you
Right.
know, they don't know how they got there, but now they have to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. It's almost like a MacGuffin, except it's not that it doesn't matter what it is. Like it's that no, the point is that no one can really know what it is.
Yeah, it's like a MacGuffin where everybody wants it, but it is just like knowledge. Like the MacGuffin is knowledge.
Yeah.
It's knowing what's going on here. Because you're trying to get out, or you're trying to, figure out the powers or the properties of the island. But so you're trying to get that thing, but everybody wants it, no one can get it.
Yeah.
And then you realize, and then the whole point to getting it is realizing you can't get it.
Of course.
Like suddenly you have it once you don't want it anymore.
Right.
I
Right.
think that was Jack at the end of the show. I was like, oh, okay. I'll just stop caring about all this stuff and just deal with what's in front of me, which is like this smoke monster in the body of Log, and
Right.
I'll just fight him, and now I'm dead because like that's it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like stop fretting over everything and trying to fix everything, and just be, Jack, just be. And yeah, he got very zen after
Yeah.
Jacob was like, yeah, you're in charge, drink this water.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I guess it's I guess it's sort of saying that, and I mean this is like one feature that you find in certain like philosophical or like religious traditions, like in terms of if there are things you can't understand, like sometimes the best course of action is to just kind of surrender and go with the
Mm-hmm.
flow, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's in a way like that's the most rational thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, because trying to poke and prod and steal or whatever like people do, like, just leads to their own ruin in most cases.
Yeah, but that's the trap, and that it's such an interesting trap because you always have to work to understand things, and some things
Yep,
require more work than others. So you go,
true.
okay, this thing that seems really hard. Well, if I keep putting energy into understanding it, I'll get to the end of it because, experience has told me that's how this reality works.
Right,
Is if I come across something I don't understand, I can use tools and critical thinking to figure it out, and then we'll be done, right? And then you just keep going and going and going and going because you think, because you've gone so far that the end has to be close, and then yeah. So at what point do you surrender? I guess like Locke surrendered. Well, he kind of surrendered very early, like right away. But
yeah,
he was also looking for another kind of MacGuffin, you know, which was why was he special. But in terms of the
right,
island in general, yeah, he just like surrendered to its craziness because it fit into his worldview that like this was all a part of some plan because he's got to be special, you
right.
know. And then
But I
there's some
think
people who, oh, go ahead.
part of his problem is that he needed affirmation, and he needed uh he needed like constant, he's almost like a baby in a way, like he
Mm-hmm.
needed a lot of like reinforcement that he had chosen the right path. Like he wasn't satisfied just committing to a thing and
Mm-hmm.
living with whatever consequences. He would regret. He would say like, well, no, I guess I was wrong. And then
Yeah.
maybe even go back. I mean, because that was the second step. Like I was wrong about this. I was right the first time, but then I was wrong the second. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole mess, which means
Guess
he
I
was
made a mistake.
exactly. So yeah, like I think uh I think that's another thing that would have served him well, like just not needing people to tell him that he's special and he's doing the right thing and he should be doing this, and also like not needing to not having such preconceived notions about like what his destiny has to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he needed it to be a certain thing, and it was like this button like is boring. Like I don't want to sit and push a button. That can't be it. You know?
Yeah. And that's a really interesting point because it seems like with Locke, if his destiny was to push a button that protected the world, which is a very important job, if that's true,
Yeah.
I feel like that, yeah, like you said, that wouldn't be good enough for him. Sitting alone in a room, saving the world where no one notices is
Yeah.
not what he wants.
Yeah.
Like because he needs that affirmation from people, and he needs to know he wants to do something big and have people thank him for it. Like
Yeah.
um, and he's always trying to get that, and he never like when he. I just think of like when he killed Naomi, he probably was like, guys, I did you a favor.
Right.
Like you should like me for this, but of course they hate him because they think she's
He's
the key
trying
to
to
getting on the freighter.
stop them from getting rescued. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's just
Yeah.
like another example of him sabotaging their
Yeah.
efforts to get away. And I mean, it is weird. I mean, we've talked about it. Like, um, if he exactly has a reason, um, why he thinks they shouldn't leave.
Hmm.
Other than just the vague sense that they're not supposed to leave.
Yeah, because it's almost like, well, he can't leave because he hasn't found the thing that he's looking for, right? Like he's not
Yeah.
gonna want to leave because this has to mean something.
Right.
But then the second step is he also thinks that applies to everybody else. Like it matters that he is there with them and that they're all there and they can't leave because if the random circumstance that found them all there, doesn't matter. So if people leave, then and everything's fine. If they leave, then it means like then them arriving, but didn't matter. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Like if the island is just through with people, then what was the point of getting there? So yeah, he has to make it in his view. It all has to mean something for everybody. I think.
Yeah, and it's interesting to step in like that, to sort of like force fate to happen. Because it's like,
Hmm.
I mean, that's Jack's thing at the end of the series, like not getting in the way of things happening and just kind of letting things happen
Hmm.
without trying to force them to happen, but stepping in and saying, you can't leave the island because, you're fated to find something here. It's like, well, if he's fated to find something here, then you don't need to step in and blow up the stuff.
Yeah, but here's the rub though, and this happens a lot in religion and these like faith-based ideas, which is like, well, yes, okay, a higher power or fate or whatever wants a certain course of action to happen, but it doesn't mean I'm not supposed to play a role in that.
Right.
You know,
He
um,
thinks
it,
he's the
it
instrument
doesn't
of fate.
it doesn't mean that if he sits back and does nothing, then everything will play out according to fate. Like it might not, which is like, well, then if it doesn't play out according to fate, then that was still fate.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing. That's
yeah.
that's what's weird about it.
Hmm.
Like the logic kind of works both ways. It sort of seems like whatever you do should be the fated thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, the show like sort of illustrates the idea that because they leave and come back, because we know Jack already, um, you know, at after a long time being off the island, like came to the conclusion that he wasn't supposed to
Yeah.
leave and he has to go back. That it seems like some kind of justification for the idea that like he was fated to go there, and if he is, then he's fated to find a way back.
Hmm.
And it sort of makes me think, well, if he had left on the submarine, then he probably would have been back in some other way.
Yeah. For sure.
It just would have been a different story. But
Yeah.
it sort of reminds me of the Desmond things where he's seeing Charlie dying and saving him. Therefore like altering the visions he's having. So in a
Hmm.
sense, like changing fate. It makes me think it might just be like that.
Say it again?
You know, like the details would be different, but the outcome would be the same.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, because it seems like they allow for that, even though it's true that it's not clearly defined what Desmond's visions really mean. You know, ever.
Yeah.
So,
And then he just he gives up on him and stops having him
and never speaks to them again, and so
Yeah.
then we could just all move on. It's like it's weird. It's weird. I feel like there should have been a scene later. I mean, I feel like Hurley would be the one to just come out and be like, "Dude, are you still seeing the future?"
Yeah.
You know, like, because like it's a weird thing to just know
Or
and then not talk about.
the big question, dude, can you see us getting off the island?
Yeah, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Maybe that's why he leaves the island so fast. Like they didn't want people asking him questions all the time.
Yeah.
And Saeed's always like, "We can talk about this later."
We can talk about this later. I have a long queue of things that I have to talk about with people. I'll just add you to the list.
Exactly. I'm sure we'll get to that list someday.
All right, you want to get to the podcast, the
Yeah.
episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right, everybody, get your players ready if you're going to sync up with us and watch some Confirmed Dead.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Previously on Lost. Thud in the back.
Wet thud.
Wow. Yeah, it was a wet thud. Thanks, captions. You made it worse.
You killed Naomi!
I always thought it was weird with captions that they get very specific, like wet thud. But if you are deaf, then does that description help?
Yeah, it's
Like,
weird.
Do you know what a wet thud sounds
I
like?
don't know. I mean, if they used to be able to hear and then stopped, then probably yes. But
So I'm sorry. Can I point out that Hurley? I'm sorry. Sawyer just said the big thing we've been talking
surviving.
about.
Yeah.
Surviving. The thing I've been always doing. Surviving. That's huge.
Yeah, definitely.
He's telling us what the theme of the show is. Why did we catch that before?
I don't know. That's weird because that was in the last episode.
Yeah, didn't catch it then. It's all about context, you know? Yeah, I remember this being crazy.
Yeah, this is a weird opening. They don't do this a whole lot.
It makes you think of the scientists in Antarctica. You're just like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the beginning of a movie or something. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's like Alien, or this is really like bizarre.
Yeah, they're doing the classic trope with the chatter.
Yeah.
They were dead all along.
Uh-oh. Yeah, they're really fucking with us with this. Even though the explanation is like, what else could it be? It's a different plane.
Yeah, and that's what's so great is you just never think that this. Well, there's multiple of planes, guys. You can make a second plane and put it in the water. But
Totally.
because you never, and this is great, we get a map.
Yeah.
But that's the thing you just kind of never see in stories like that, where someone actually has the means and resources to do something insane, and they just recreate it. Okay.
Oh shit.
Dan.
I forgot that this was a segue to this.
Yeah.
God, this is so weird.
It's so crazy. Like, he was just a normal guy hanging out, and then all of a sudden, he sees this, and his whole life is now going to be changed.
It's really weird. It's like, and it's strange that they never explicitly define what that is.
Yeah.
Because I
And he's
always
like,
thought
I
like
don't
someday we'll
know.
get it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. And then they cut to this where
Yeah,
he's being thrown out of a plane, and you
yeah,
go like, okay, huh?
yeah.
Nice. And that was great because now we got a sense of what it was like for Naomi.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's got the same little beacon thing.
Mm-hmm. The helicopter looked better.
Helicopter's
The
much
CG
more
helicopter.
convincing. It's actually a helicopter shaped thing.
Here we have the trope of someone running through
Oh
the
my
woods.
God, is it Vincent?
It's probably Vincent.
Yeah, this is weird to see. They're showing us the other side of the thing we saw in the last episode.
This is so crazy. What?
What?
He's all happy.
Wow.
My mom is Miss Hawking. Might be familiar.
My
No?
dad is Charles Widmore,
Starts with.
and I'm British.
Well, and then we get the line, I'm here to rescue
I'm here to
you.
rescue
I
you.
mean, that's just. I mean, this whole conversation has been about can we trust the people on the freighter? Are they
Yeah.
really here to rescue us? So he's not lying. He thinks that. Does he think that is what the mission was? And Widmore never told him about Kimi and stuff
I
that they're
think
actually there for Ben, or does he reveal that he knows that they're there for Ben? I
no,
can't remember.
I think he knows they're there for Ben.
Okay.
Um so yeah, I think he's being deceptive. But the strange thing is like he wants to rescue them, but he's lying about it.
Hmm. Sounds like Lost.
Yeah.
But so what's weird is he's talking to the freighter, which is in a different time zone, right?
Right. Well, that's one of the things that comes up with the payload rocket thing in the next episode. Like the direct communication versus the time shifts. I think that was the main thing that was like
Mm-hmm.
really confusing. Yeah, see, they're kind of like playing up like, can we trust this guy?
Yeah.
But it's weird looking back because it's like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about him. You need to worry about the other people. I love she thinks Naomi covered for
Yeah.
her.
She did not have a sister.
Oh, Naomi, she stood up for us in the end. It's great. It's like, oh, he's got a gun. Ooh, what does that mean?
Can't trust him.
I
He's a
love that.
threat.
He's already doing all the mannerisms.
You mean for his character?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's all there.
Jeremy Davies knows what's up.
Scene one. Like, I'm gonna look over here, and when I point, I'm gonna do an arc like this. It's great.
Look at Locke.
Uh-oh, it's raining.
He loves this so much.
That must mean something's happening.
I called it. I knew it was gonna rain. It's the thing I do. I like how it's raining, but it's like super bright.
Yeah. Vincent!
Like it passes as soon as he's finished with the sentence.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah.
Wait, how did Vincent make the choice to go with them?
Right?
That doesn't
Maybe
make any
Vincent. Maybe Vincent wants to get off the island.
sense.
I guess only because Hurley's taking care of him.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the big cabin lines.
Here we go. Nice. He's already calling it.
That's the line. That's the line
Yeah.
where I feel like he's saying Walt told him to go to the cabin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which was something we didn't see on screen.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, he did tell him he just got work to do. Yeah, it's really hard to know.
Like,
It's
it's
hard to know.
possible that he just inferred that himself, but,
Yeah.
you know, saying, like, why are we going to the cabin? Who are you getting your orders from? And he says Walt. Seems like it's saying Walt told him to go there.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lying liar who lies.
Look at her. She was always like that.
Yep.
Like, what's the runway for? Oh, the aliens.
Yeah.
Haha, just kidding. Like,
Oh, it's very stressful being an
but
other.
it was a good kind of scene about meaning and interpretation,
Yeah.
because he's like, how do we interpret what Ben said? And she's
It
just
could
like,
be
it
this or
could be either
that.
option.
Yeah.
For the gas fight we're gonna have
Did you know
later.
about the poison gas factory?
And that's what's so cool is like he's coming off weird and he's coming off nervous and like he's
Yeah.
sinister. But we saw this guy cry about the
Yeah.
airplane. That's the first thing we saw, and he didn't, So it's just like you just can't get a handle on him and why
And I
he's
think the thing we don't know at this point is this is just how he is. He's
yeah.
not just being this way because he's under
Well,
pressure.
he is though, because I mean, to a degree, he's trying to lie, right?
Yeah.
So, and he's not a good liar because he's not a professional.
Right.
Like, so it is, I think, a bit. He's being weird because he's lying and it's showing. When he says, "I'm not in charge of packing," like,
Right.
I mean, it's like, what are you doing, buddy? Taller Ghost Walt. Wow.
Yeah, like a giant.
Okay, so this is what it is then. So I don't think he said anything about the cabin.
So he just assumed that he
Yeah,
should go to the cabin
he
afterward.
should he should go get his next orders from the cabin where yeah, I guess that's the question is why does he think he should go to the cabin?
Yeah. And that's why I thought, like, he's not saying that he said that specifically when he repeats, but there is a
Well,
thing
he
there
just
that he didn't say on screen. So,
well he just said you didn't ask any follow-up questions. I mean,
right.
so it does seem like they're saying like that's all he told him to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But he still could have said more, and he didn't ask any follow-up questions.
Yeah, but then Locke should have said all because I mean that was the whole point of that scene was he
Right.
said what exactly did he tell you?
Right.
This is where Jack and Locke are gonna have their fight.
Yeah, this is a big place. It's also where Desmond and Kelvin had their fight.
Yeah, this is the place you fight.
The fighting
These are the
place.
fighting rocks. Yeah. I love how Miles was just like, I'm gonna play dead.
Yep.
Look at Kate.
The Kate?
The Kate.
Uh,
Let's cut the commercial.
yeah, that'll. Maybe we won't have to answer.
Inglewood. Nice. You should have that.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I lived in that house.
Oh, that's Confirmed Dad. There it is.
Yeah.
That's what I thought Confirmed Dad was, but then I wasn't sure.
I would like Charlotte, Miles, Dan, and Frank to start up a detective service.
Yeah, so this is like um Miles the
Mm-hmm.
ghost
Oh, the
detective.
frames are gonna move.
Oh god, this is fucking ridiculous.
We spent so much time on that.
There was so much like energy spent on those frames. People still talk about the frames as like evidence that the timeline changed,
Jeez.
which is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is like a pilot for Miles, the Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah. He's like a ghost whisperer con man. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like he actually does have the power, but
Yeah.
he's profiting on it,
He uses it to like get more money than just the money he's being
which
paid.
is fair. It's his talent.
True.
But then the con is that he might not actually say what the truth is.
Right, right. I love the fucking vacuum
The
cleaner.
vacuum, yeah.
This is my ghost vacuum.
Well, and that's interesting too, because he like modified it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm left to assume that it doesn't do anything and that it's just for show.
Well, I was just thinking that because I thought it was like a regular vacuum, and he was just gonna plug it in and make it
Yeah.
seem like he was up there doing something. But the fact that he put that weird spinning
He did
thing,
do something to it, yeah. The other thing is like this scene is different from what they tell us later about his power.
yeah.
Because he needed the body later on, and
Hmm.
there's specifically the body's not here.
Yeah.
And this scene is him alone,
Hmm.
so and he also like finds money from the ghost, as it were.
So that's yeah. So again, Lot's doing the double shuffle where they just pile things on, and then that happens.
Yeah,
So is he just faking? But then if he's faking, why is he even talking out loud?
yeah.
But then something real actually happens.
And I would say like just in case someone's listening in, but then he doesn't want her to be listening in because he's gonna
Yeah,
steal this stuff.
yeah,
So I can only conclude that it's sincere.
yes.
Love that.
You
That's
can
his.
go
That's
now.
his big help.
So
You
good.
can go now. Now that I've stolen the
I've
money.
stolen your money. Cause you think, oh man, if he gives that all that money to the grandmother or whatever, that's
Mhm.
so good. Like he's a good guy.
Oh shit! The frames. The frames.
When he wasn't at peace, there were the other frames, and when he is at peace,
Yeah, you could go that way with it. It's like supernatural. It's not necessarily sci-fi.
and what's weird is like he could have given all of her money back and still potentially made a big profit.
Yeah.
Good people. It's a weird idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was craziness.
Oh right.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. And you're just like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one though. That's a good one because I was thinking the same thing. Like, how could you know? Oh yeah,
Mhm.
right. He's the guy that would know.
Yeah, he's
That
the
one
one guy that
guy.
will know. Yeah. Remember when Ben tried to brainwash?
Oh God.
Yeah.
I guess I overreacted.
Not really your daughter.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
adopted.
Yeah. Stolen.
Whatever.
Semantics. Who, Kate? I barely remember her face. He tries to get it in. He tries to get it. He has to go like one step too far.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
it's so great. He's got to go until he gets the reaction.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so good. I think I think that I got like ah.
Stolen.
Stolen. Hurley's like, dude. Thanks, Hurley. We needed that.
Johnny.
Yeah. You walk a little bit. The weird transition.
Yeah. I died with a wig on.
In the afterlife, I still have the wig. I don't understand it.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit. I forgot that he just noticed that it wasn't an experiment.
Yeah.
Wink.
Wig. I wonder though, like, did she even know who Locke was?
Who?
Naomi. Like, how would she know what happened? You know what I mean? Like, I guess she knew she got a knife thrown in her back.
She knew that they didn't do it.
But how does she know Locke wasn't part of their group? You know what I mean? Like, how does she
Well,
know
whether
who
or
it
not he's part of
was?
the group, she just knew that Jack and Kate didn't do it.
Okay, okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Wink.
Yeah. Nice. Well, where are we now?
Oh man, this is all over the
This is
place.
so crazy.
The mysterious
Tunisia.
Tunisia connection.
And so this is the first time we've been here, right? To
Yeah.
Tunisia. So we don't know anything about the orchid and the light
No.
the well
For
and the
all we
dung
know, there's no
well.
connection between the island and Tunisia.
Yeah.
Retrouvé!
You
Mon
can
Dieu!
read that. You can read that now.
I can. It's really easy. Found again.
How many different languages are
Oh,
there?
man, I forgot
That's like
about
the most British thing you can say.
that. It really is.
This is like female Indiana Jones. Here's a wad of money that's
Ooh.
probably like too much to give you for this, but I'll get it all to you. That's how TV works. And you go, wow, okay, look at this dinosaur. No.
Oh, we all know about Ursus Maritimus,
Mm-hmm.
as in the biggest mystery on Lost.
Yeah, it's just the reason that they're all there. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, we've never seen that logo. Or have we? Is that the Hydra logo? I
Yeah,
guess that's the Hydra logo.
I mean, can you imagine how cool that would be to find a polar bear buried in the desert and then you
Insane.
get a logo for some institution or organization you've never seen and you're
Yeah,
just like, wow.
yeah. Yeah,
Nothing's
and
ever
like
easy.
we have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
Like what? There's a Dharma polar bear in Tunisia?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah,
Like
how
that
could that
raises a
be
lot of
possible?
questions.
Yeah, was Dharma doing polar bear experiments in Tunisia?
Yeah,
But they do love that thing. There's something about a polar bear being in a
in a
non-cold
strange
environment.
environment. Yeah.
Nice. Thought she was gonna face plant. That would have hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, she was born here.
Yeah, I know. Not something I would have thought back then.
It's weird. It's still weird though. And then they show up.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah, Miles and Frank found the other group, and
Mhm.
then yeah, she's unlucky. She found Locke's group.
Yeah, the more hostile group.
Yeah. You would have fucked it up. I give you that
The
wink.
wig. Don't forget about the wig.
What are your names? Oh, that's so funny.
I love that. He's rolling his eyes at a mystery.
Mm-hmm. While she's here, actually interested.
Yeah.
Hurley got stumped. She stumped him.
With a baby.
He's drooling.
Ugh.
He looks really weirded out. Wow, Ben. Nobody cares.
Oh shit.
Well, not by you.
Uh-oh.
And she's moving fast.
She's moving really fast.
Took a jack.
Is this Vincent? Did they say
Yeah.
Vincent with the fucking thing?
Yeah.
Vincent's like, I actually do want to be rescued. That's weird. I guess that's why Vincent went with them.
Yeah, that was a big reason.
Because it doesn't really make sense. Like, he was on a leash, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
seems like they should have just let him off and let him decide. Shaq's face.
It's like they're clearly looking down.
Yeah.
Like they think she was running on all fours.
I guess he was running really fast.
Well, he's a dog, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. It was so weird. I forgot he was in the travel agency.
Me too. I don't remember even registering what this place is.
Mm-hmm.
Just like he's in some weird tropical environment. Oh, Seth Norris.
So he hasn't seen or heard of Seth in a long. So he knew Seth was probably dead
Yeah,
because it's been a long time since that flight went missing. And
disappeared.
then this. I love the close up of the hands that makes no sense. This is great.
Wait,
Oh,
the
please
hand
help.
isn't him?
No.
Oh, is he gonna explain it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Because I'm Captain Norris. Yeah. Oh, and he's on the island too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's the first clue we have that the bodies were faked. Even
Yeah.
though, like, what else could it be?
Well, this is great. This is the cow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It literally moved.
My home blew up.
Yeah.
Now I eat grass here.
Now all the grass is mine.
No more confining boundaries.
I am free.
Yeah, that's a weird introduction.
Oh.
Oh,
What's in this pocket?
flare
An
gun.
orange gun.
Yeah.
I never understood how flare guns work because like you shoot it and it's like where it goes down is not where the person is.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I
it's
guess
like
it gives
how
you
do
a
you?
rough sense of where they might be. Like you sort of go in the direction of where you see it.
Yeah, but it seems like that'd be a big area.
Yeah. Well, it would be.
Took him a while to come up with that.
Yep.
Oh God, fucking Ben. He's the best. He's the best.
Yeah.
Two to the chest, man.
They showed him looking at the gun earlier.
Yeah. Oh gosh, he's immortal.
I'm a smoke monster. Yeah. Oh shit.
Did I do that? You know, I heard somebody do that in real life. Somebody actually dropped something and didn't know they did it, and they literally turned around and said, "Did I do that?" I was like, "Wow, that actually happens."
Yeah, why not? You could say
Yeah,
that. I bet I've said it once.
yeah.
Was the chopper?
The cow
It makes it seem
was
like
the
he's hallucinating or something, but
was the cow the smoke monster?
it's funny. It actually could be. We
Yeah,
can't prove that it wasn't.
can't prove it wasn't.
He likes to be animals sometimes.
Yeah, and
People are
it's a
worse.
great way to scan somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting theory. I don't think I would have thought of that. That's weird. Oh,
Scan them,
yeah.
see what's up.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of talk about a helicopter. Well,
Wow.
America.
Yeah, that was insane to just. And now we have access to a helicopter.
Yep. It's a huge thing. Oh, I forgot they give us a Naomi thing, too.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
great. When did they take those portraits?
I love this office building.
It's great. It's so creepy to be like, we'll rent a whole floor and for just for this.
So now we know that Abaddon's involved with the freighter.
Yeah.
I think that wasn't 100% clear from the last episode.
And it's still weird
Yeah.
because like they're going there. They It's just so weird. It would have made sense if he's like, yes, there are survivors and we want.
Right. Yeah, I don't know why I mean, I guess he says don't ask questions, like, you've got your mission and just do that. And so, like, I'm not
Because,
going to get off that message.
but it is important if they do find survivors from
Yeah,
A
it's weird.
to
That's what she was
So
asking. So,
yeah,
yeah.
and so, but like, does Widmore really think no one survived? I mean,
Yeah, it's weird.
and why? Wait, why fake the wreckage anyway?
Well, that's going to be an ongoing thing.
Oh, that's right. And he's gonna say he didn't do it.
That's actually a huge thing. No, I think eventually he'll admit he did it.
Okay, yeah.
Um, but I think it's actually like the end of next season before he admits that he did it. Because I think there's a question for a while, like, was it him or Ben? Regina?
Regina, then Minkowski, Regina.
Regina.
I got a guy.
as bad as it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's so interesting. There's so many layers and secrets.
Yeah.
I love that picture.
That picture.
It looks so weird.
It really does.
He's right there. That's Locke's phrase for his life. I didn't intend for that to happen. Is like sums up his entire life. My dad stole my kidney. I didn't intend for that
Yeah.
to happen. Clean your mess.
Cleaning up the mess.
Then I was like, yes, I will. He should die. Oh, now I'm on his
Or
side.
you and the baby at the same time.
Yeah,
Magic bullet theory.
here he goes.
Yeah, I love
Here he
this.
goes.
I love this.
He's trying to figure out what Locke wants most. Oh, this is so cool that they did this.
Yeah. Ben's not lying.
He's not lying. And this is another level. I
Yep.
mean, like it's
Yep.
like 20 levels.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Like all of this, and he's got a spy on the freighter.
Yeah. Oxford, not bad.
Whoa! Couldn't get into Cambridge, I guess.
They have names.
They're here for me. They want me. Nice. You actually told him.
Yeah, I know. And now we know that's true because of the other scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise I would suspect him.
I got someone on the vote.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the next episode should be titled Boatman.
Boatman. Yeah.
I have a man on their boat. That is just this show's so good.
Yeah.
There's so many layers of information and secrets. And
It's really
deception.
ridiculous. And that was an example of the thing I talked about where Ben, from the last episode, where Ben is like, I have answers. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, what's the smoke monster? I don't
Yeah.
know. But I know what all these people's names are and their
Yeah.
backgrounds and stuff, so I have practical information.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. He might not know the big mysteries, but he knows like the stuff that he can spy and get because he knows information is key and it's saving his life time and time again.
Yeah. But it's actually, I remember, like, you know, obviously you're disappointed because you don't get an answer, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember being excited that someone on screen actually asked the
Yeah,
question.
I think that's really 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 huge, and it's not like the smoke monster has been around, you know, so it's not like
Right.
they just countered it and he asked that question. It's like, no, this is picking up a thread from a while ago.
Yeah.
And that's actually interesting that Locke really wants to know the answer to that.
I think it's interesting that, yeah, like if he's thinking of like what answers would I want to know? What's the first thing that
Yeah,
comes to
that's
mind?
the
Like
first
that's
thing that
the
comes to mind
thing.
is the big one.
Yeah, like that's crazy because he
Yeah,
could have asked a lot of other stuff.
yeah.
There's plenty of mysteries to go around.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty good episode. There's really a lot going on, a lot of
And
different.
it's interesting that like he says he doesn't know, and like that is true, but then there is a reveal later this season that he knows a little more about it than he's letting on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like it's another layer there. Okay, I don't know what it is, but I know how to summon it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, I think we saw that in the last episode, and it really continued with like different characters and their motives and what they know, um, and how they're playing them off of each other. Like it was really complicated.
Yeah, yeah. There was just so many layers. And just when you thought it's like a soap opera, just when you thought like it was crazy enough, then
Yeah,
something crazy happens.
yeah. Because like we don't at this point we don't know. Uh, I mean, yeah, we had no particular reason to suspect that Ben would, know that much about the freighter
Yeah.
or to already have a spy there.
Yeah, it's such a crazy thing to have the mystery of these people and what they want on the island. Because the whole setup of this season is, do you want to stay or do you want to go? And are the people there to help them or hurt them? Like that's the big question.
Yeah,
And you don't think that Ben is already has information about these people when the whole point is that they're mysterious.
right. And it's also a big reveal that that's why the freighter's there.
Yeah, that's why the freighters are. And then you got the other stuff with like Abaddon being in on
Yeah,
the mission,
yeah.
and which means Widmore. Now, we don't
No,
know we don't know he's connected to Widmore yet.
no. I think the Widmore reveal is coming later.
Okay,
I think
so
there's a
yeah,
scene like where Ben is gonna say like it's Widmore. Uh,
so
yeah, like I think in a way like Abaddon exists because they want to preserve the mystery of who's behind it.
yeah, and so we only know him as the guy who was interrogating Hurley in that kind of scary
Yeah,
scene,
exactly. But I
and
think
then
the key thing in terms of who's behind the freighter is they know about Penny
yeah,
and they know about Desmond. And if you think
mhm,
about what characters in the show besides Penny, and it's not Penny's bows,
yeah,
could know about Penny looking for Desmond. And
yeah.
there's really only one answer.
Yeah, but you don't know that it's not more complicated in that someone found out or
But it would have been a really reasonable theory.
yeah, it would have been
And I
reasonable.
don't know, did we have it? I feel like I got to go back and listen to what we were saying back then. I don't even remember um, what we thought the freighter was once we learned it wasn't pennies. Like did we come up with it? Maybe it's Widmore's because it's. I mean, it is definitely a logical conclusion.
Well, yeah, I don't know because I don't think we find out they want Ben. Well,
We don't
part
know
of
there's
it
a connection between Widmore and Ben either.
exactly. We don't know about that big feud and that long history yet. So that's part of it.
And I feel like the
Um,
question they never ask is the thing about Penny. Like, I feel like they never say, like, why did you do that? Why did you know about that? Where did that come from?
mhm.
They're never really confronted on that deception. I guess because, like, that was Naomi's thing and she's dead now.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah,
rest
and
of them don't
Desmond's
continue
not
it.
Desmond's not around.
Yeah, yeah. I
Where's
mean,
Desmond?
he's back at the camp, I guess.
By himself?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think like when the group split up, I think most of them went back to the main beach, but Jack and Kate like stayed behind and they heard Faraday land, and I think that's how they, you know. But and then like Sawyer and Juliet are sitting on the beach, or not Sawyer. Uh, uh,
Rose and Bernard.
who was Juliet talking to? Saeed.
The
Saeed and Juliet are sitting on the beach, you know, talking about the people, and so then you know they decide to go and they end up rescuing Jack and Kate. But I think the rest of them are still back at the beach, including Desmond.
Okay, that makes sense. Those are the people who want to get off the island. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other locked group, weren't they supposed to be headed to? I thought they were heading to the barracks for some reason.
Well, I think they were heading to the barracks, but Locke wanted to go to the cabin first.
Make a quick cabin stop off.
Quick cabin stop off, and yeah, that didn't work out, and they ended up finding Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they both kind of had unexpected detours.
Interesting. Yeah, so not too much on the mythology stuff this episode. Pretty much just about the logistics of what's going on and setting up all the stuff with the people.
They're definitely like character mysteries.
Yeah, we got a little bit with Miles's power and how that works.
Yeah. And it's weird because like there's only so much we're ever really gonna understand about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like he has this power, and I guess it comes from the island in some way.
And it's like, why doesn't Charlotte have a power? She was born there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. And then like Hurley has like and they even discuss this later. Hurley has a similar power, but not exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weird. It's like why did this happen?
Yeah. Yeah, Hurley wasn't born on the island.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Weirdness.
And then yeah, the whole Frank thing. And I guess the thing we said before is that it's an example of what we were talking about earlier with fate, you know, like if he's fated to come to the island, if he doesn't fly the plane that day, he'll come back some other way.
Yeah, like it'll at some point he's gonna get to the island.
So he ends up on the freighter, and then he ends up on the gyroplane again.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, double ridiculous coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to Guam, are we?
I love that. That was so much fun when, like, yeah, they get the plane and then it's like, who's the captain? And it's like, oh, geez. And as soon as he sees them, he's like,
sees them all okay.
There. And he reminds me of like I feel like he's like an 80s character.
Yeah.
You know, who would be in like a Kurt Russell movie or something.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, he sort of reminds me of like an A-Team member or something.
Yeah, where it's like, oh no, another mission to Crazy Town.
Here we go again.
And
yeah.
But there's like this strange like disregard for danger. It's just kind of like, well, I'm not gonna die in this thing. Like this is just another, you know, this will be a story we'll tell about, you know, later. We'll talk about later, you know. But like, it's not like super dramatic. It really,
is kind of bizarre to make a joke about it, like an action hero, like you're saying, you know, like you're in the middle of like shooting people and you have a one-liner, you know, like
exactly.
Really? I mean, you actually think like the plane's gonna crash on the island and you're just gonna like be with that?
Yeah, there wasn't any like, oh no way I'm going back there, or you know, like hell no. It's just like
he just accepts it, like okay.
Here we go.
And you know, all the passengers die except for a few, so like it's kind of when you think about it, it's kind of crazy, you know, that he doesn't care that much.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no mourning, right? Like, I don't remember him saying anything about it or no, we can't.
Yeah, did he ever regret not saying like, oh no, we can't do this flight, like something's gonna happen, like I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, or like what's gonna happen to all these people, or like does it make sense to go take all these people to the island? Like the island is not a place where you want a bunch of people.
Yeah, Jack at least talks about that. There's that scene with Ben, he's like, who cares,
Yes. Oh man, I remember the Who Cares. Oh yeah.
Which it's fine
Okay.
for Ben to say who cares, but,
Yeah.
like,
Man,
Ben's, kind of insane in a way.
who cares?
Who
Wow.
cares? Yeah. Yeah, that was classic. But it did kind of bother me that not only Frank, but really, like, no one seemed to care about them.
Mhm.
They're just all, like, killed
Well,
en masse.
it's like we're supposed to care that the Losties get lost on the island from a plane
Right.
crash. Yet here's a whole second group of people who
Yeah.
are gonna go through the same thing back in the real world with the media and
Right.
everyone.
Yeah.
Like it happened again, another mysterious flight. And really, what's strange is like that's actually happened in our world, where the
Right.
last few years we've lost two planes in strange disappearances.
Well, that one would
You
have
know,
been extra crazy because it's like not only did another plane disappear, it's a plane with the Oceanic Six on it.
yeah. I mean, that story. People would have been like going out of their minds trying to report that story, and like, I mean, what is with the Oceanic Six?
Yeah, and when that plane comes back and it's got a couple of those people and some people from
Yeah,
the first flight that disappeared.
yeah. It's like, where are you guys going, and why are you not inviting anyone else?
It's
Is this
gonna be
the
so
hottest
crazy.
new? Is this the hottest new island that is so secret or something? Like that we have to tell people it's a plane crash, but you guys are really just like living it up in luxury. So like, what's going on? Yeah, that
Yeah,
would have been so weird. No one would have believed it. You couldn't
yeah,
have made anyone believe that story.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I feel like the series has to end there, because like, how are they gonna? It's just gonna be so strange when they go back.
Yeah.
Like what? Like it was strange enough already. There's already faked wreckage and stuff. Like it's
So crazy. The fake wreckage is so crazy.
it is really crazy. And yeah, I mean that's something we'll talk about as we go forward because obviously that was a big sticking point on the podcast, and it was something that didn't bother me that much when the show was actually on because I was just going along with it and I was like, sure, like it's weird and it doesn't seem to make sense, but it'll work in the end. Like they'll kind of tie it up. But they never really did, and I do think like the question of like who are these people, the
Yeah.
Seinfeld question, like that there's these like thugs wandering around doing shit and I don't think they're ever really explained. And they intimate like several times like, oh, Widmore is trying to kill them or something.
Yeah.
And it's like they have to lie because Widmore is going to kill
To
them all.
protect the people on the island, because if he tries to go back, he'll just kill them all there, like they did
Yeah,
last time. Yeah.
exactly.
So
And
they have
like
so the lie. Yeah, we're gonna get that episode.
yeah, and like he planted the bodies because he didn't want anyone searching for the island.
Yeah, and that's a question I know we've asked before: is did the people who found the wreckage, that submarine team or whatever, were they part of Whitmore's thing, or
Oh yeah, that's
were they
interesting.
paid to, did Whitmore's company say, hey, I'm doing an oceanic project, not oceanic, but
Right.
lowercase
In the
o,
literal sense, yeah.
yeah, I'm doing a project and I need some survey of this underwater, and I'll just hire your company to do it, but
Hmm.
knowing full well that they're going to discover the plane.
You should just
Or
look
was
over
it,
here.
yeah, exactly. Here's the coordinates. Or was it just like we'll just put the wreckage in the water
Wait
and
for
then
someone to
like
find it.
wait until somebody finds it, if anybody. But it seems like no, like if you go through all the trouble to fake a plane wreckage,
You,
you want people to know. Like
yeah.
you don't want to leave it to chance.
I feel like it would make sense that he hired a team, but he didn't tell them what it
Yeah.
was, and so they were genuinely surprised what they found.
Yeah.
Um,
Although the guy who was talking is like, he didn't seem that surprised. He was like, "Are you seeing this?" He
I
wasn't
thought he
like, oh
sounded sort of
wow,
surprised, but
oh
yeah,
wow, a plane crash. It was
it
just
could have
like,
been more enthusiastic. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it could be either way, but I think it does make the most sense that I didn't even ever think about that he was behind that team too. I kind of just thought like, oh, they're just always like looking in the ocean and they just like
Yeah,
found it.
James Cameron and his people are just always going underwater.
But
Just
yeah,
like
it's
Game of
definitely a
Thrones.
chance to take. I
Yeah.
mean, um, because if it's a place where people are there, like looking around all the time, like it would be hard to plant the stuff there. So, I mean, I would think he probably planted it and hired a team. That makes the most sense.
Well, and it's got to be in a place that would seem to make sense for wreckage for where the
Right,
plane's going.
right, right. And it did set off a bunch of questions about like where the island actually was.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember that sort of coming up when they come back, because where they're found versus where the wreckage was. Um, but there was a crazy thing with one of the planes that disappeared. I guess I didn't actually know there were two. I thought there was just one. Maybe I didn't hear about the second one.
Yeah, the second one happened. I think it was sort of, I think more clearly a terrorist related thing. I
Oh,
think that's what I read, but it was still like, it just kind of went down and they hadn't found the wreckage and,
yeah. Because
you
like I
know.
think a chunk of the plane, the first one, like washed up, over in Africa or something, like some place like pretty far from where it
Yeah, I
should have
think I read
crashed.
that too. Yeah.
And just the ocean current carried it,
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
huge
it's weird.
distance.
It's a whole weird. I mean, that's why it's a great concept for a TV show because it just has so much mystery of like
Yeah,
where did they go? What happened? It's like you can see why David Lindelof loved the idea of The Leftovers. Of just like, okay, where did these people go? And now what do we do?
yeah,
They're gone without any way to mourn them. They're
yeah.
just
You're right. It's sort of like that. I didn't think about that. That's interesting.
mhm. Yeah.
Wow, what if we learned they're all on the island? That would be weird. It's probably
And
not gonna
and
happen.
and
In the
we're talking.
leftovers.
Yeah. Well, it'd be really cool. I mean, the very easy way you could tie Lost and The Leftovers together is to say, like, just like the button, like nobody pressed it, and
Yeah,
what ended up happening was 2% of the world's people disappeared,
yeah, yeah,
and it could be that they got time traveled, or something happened like we've seen on Lost, where the island's reality, maybe they got moved because the
right,
planet moved or something
right.
something weird like that.
Like what you said reminded me of another thing about Miles, a little flashback that I forgot. I forgot was a thing, which is in terms of like the inconsistency. Like it's not just that he needs a body,
Hmm.
but it's also that he can't talk to the dead person. He can only hear their thoughts.
He hears your last thoughts, right?
Yeah, like he
Which
can't
is, yeah.
communicate with them. Whereas in the flashback, he clearly seems to be talking to a ghost
Well,
and
and
having a
even
back and forth.
even with Naomi, he seems like he was talking. He was saying something when he was over the body.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah, so I feel
yeah,
like they changed the idea of what his power was
yeah.
later on. I mean, maybe there was a discussion about like Hurley versus him, and like they didn't want them to have the same power.
Hmm. Or it's too powerful to be able to get information from dead people that way.
Right.
It's like, because then everybody who's dead is someone he can go talk to.
Because I guess that's the difference. Like Hurley can talk to them, but he can't really control who he sees.
Yeah, they just have to be around and come to him.
Yeah, they just have to show up. Whereas like Miles can listen to any dead person's thoughts, but he can't talk to them.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's sort of like that's the that's the trade-off, I guess, which makes sense. But it does seem like he has it all in this episode. So yeah, maybe that's that part of it. It's just too much.
Yeah.
It gives them too much power.
That's interesting though. It makes me think, especially with Hurley's power, it makes me think that's kind of the idea of the island being like some bridge that connects two worlds, in that in that interest that way. Like maybe the ghosts, I think we kind of talked about this before, like the ghost being related to the light cave
Yeah,
and
definitely.
how like maybe they're coming from the light cave,
Hmm.
which it lets them access the afterlife,
Yeah.
and then if they don't have guilt, then they can go through the energy on the island and then move towards the afterlife or something. So maybe that's why they get trapped there, because it's this like bridge
Right.
and they can't just go directly to the afterlife like I am assuming everyone else gets to do who's not on the
Yeah,
island.
now that I think about it, the idea that the Whispers are these ghosts, and that Michael says we're the ones who can't move on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that does seem like it's explicitly saying that the island is part of the, in a way, like connected to the afterlife
Yeah,
process.
yeah. Well, and I think we clearly see it's connected to, I would just say, the beyond, right? Because I mean, Desmond time travels because of the island, like his consciousness
Hmm.
goes places because of the electromagnetism.
Yeah,
We've seen the light cave be a
including the
conduit to the
afterlife.
yeah, we've seen it be a conduit to the afterlife. So I feel like, that's, if when people say the island is purgatory, like they're right, I think, to the extent that it is some kind of special bridge or connection to the afterlife. And maybe that's why it heals, because it's connected to this everlasting energy or something, maybe that's the idea of the healing properties of the island, because you're getting a little bit of the beyond leaking on the island. Uh, yeah, maybe something like
Wow,
that.
that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Yeah, the healing powers. God, there's so many things.
There's so many things.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's interesting. But I don't think it ever clicked into place that specifying, he uses the same language. Michael uses the same language that Christian does. He says they're moving on.
Yeah.
And that and the fact that Desmond via this electromagnetic experiment transports to the afterlife. Both of those things do seem to be suggesting that the afterlife is connected to the island and to the ghosts on the island.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I never quite. It all seems, I don't know. It all seems separate to me before.
Yeah.
Um, Even though the links are there.
We're gonna figure this show out by the end, man. We're getting there. I mean,
Yeah,
we're knocking out crazy mysteries left and right now.
yeah. No, I mean, I feel like that fits in. It is weird. Yeah, the island is purgatory in a sense, just
Mm-hmm.
not the way everyone meant when they said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you can be alive and be on the island, and
Yeah,
you're not in purgatory. But yeah.
exactly, exactly. It's purgatory among other things.
Mm-hmm.
You would normally expect purgatory to just be purgatory,
No,
but
this is
it's not
Purgatory
just that.
Plus.
There's
Yeah.
a lot more going.
Purgatory 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
This one got an upgrade.
Oh God. Super.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So the healing stuff,
Yeah.
the light cave, man. I think at the end of the day, the light cave is really supposed to explain a lot of things, but in a very general way.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. And I think, yeah, I think that's part of what the issue was. It was these are our final answers in a sense, but it's really not gonna spell out very clearly what this is supposed to mean, like in terms of any specific thing, like okay, how does the cave of light explain blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that fit in? That's why I think the polar bears is kind of hilarious. That people talk about the polar bears in a way, like the polar bears is like one of the least interesting mysteries.
Yeah, it's not even a mystery.
Because it's really just totally a practical accident. Like it's an example of the thing you said before about like how if you just go back in time and see how the thing starts, it doesn't seem mysterious.
Yeah,
You know, it's like people brought polar bears to the island. The end. Like that's not a property of the island. You know, that's not something the island's doing. That's just something people brought there.
Yeah, I agree. The polar bear doesn't really make any sense. You know, like as to why people keep harping on it. I mean, it's kind of like what I said before, though. It's just such the visual idea of it. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Which they used again in this episode.
Which they used again,
as you mentioned. So it almost makes it seem like they're perpetuating it, even though it's got a Dharma collar. Like the answer's right there.
Yeah. Well, but the question is, how did it get there?
How to get in Tunisia? Yeah. Which the answer to how it got in Tunisia, that is a true island mystery.
Yeah.
That's different from how it got on the island. So I guess they've taken the polar bear to the next level in this episode.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it before, but in terms of like, because I'm just thinking, I really want to explain the powers that people have. Like, I really want to understand why Miles has his set of powers and Hurley does this thing, and I think I mentioned this before with Jacob, like the idea
Desmond,
that,
I guess.
And Desmond, yeah.
He's the other one's powers.
The idea of Jacob, you know, having powers and the ability to heal people, or give people immortality, you know, and that maybe that's just like, you know, perpetual healing, you know, like the island can heal, and so Jacob can just make the island keep healing you, and you'll never die. I mean, maybe everyone who's healed never dies or something, you know, like he did seem to get like some extra. An extra dose of it. So yeah, because I mean, Jacob touched a lot of people, but it didn't make them immortal.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that would have been really embarrassing for Sawyer and Kate. Like, go back to the real world and like, not only was their mysterious and reappearance like insane, but they're immortal now, guys. Yeah. You have to tell us about this island.
Yeah, now you're immortal.
Like seriously, you're 387, and
yeah, that's the best spot ever. I mean, it is also, you know, the other trope that they're using is like, you know, the Fountain of Youth or something.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like they found the thing that people were trying to describe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the healing pool in the temple is definitely along those lines, and I think that connects the healing to the not aging thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that makes sense. I mean, I guess, you know, Jacob's powers should flow. I mean, they should come from the island. So, I mean, I think it makes sense that he's just directing the island's power somehow. Like being made the protector, you know, gives you the ability to do that to some extent.
Yeah.
I can only guess. Like I would presume that, you know, he couldn't do that before he was made the protector.
I just feel like it's got to be one of those things where it's like a Maynard thing, you know, where he has power because he thinks he has power.
Right. It does seem like that's sort of what it is, but you have to go through this moment where you believe you're the protector.
And it's weird though with Richard, right? I mean, did he touch Richard knowing that, okay, this touch is going to make him immortal? Or did he not know that was going to happen? Or did Richard think, oh, well, he touched me, I'm immortal now, and therefore he becomes immortal? Like, it's just such a strange, because the way Jacob does it in the scene, it's not like, I mean, he does say, like, I can do that.
Yeah.
But why does he know he can do that?
And interestingly, he says that he can't bring Richard's wife back.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, he does have some degree of like specific ideas about what he can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the thing about that one is it would take a while for Richard to know whether it worked or not.
Yeah.
You know? It was probably many years before it was clear that he wasn't aging.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Whereas like bringing his wife back is something that would have to happen pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? On the other hand, the Man in Black may or may not have brought Saeed back.
Yeah, which would make sense. I mean, if it would be interesting if he could do that. I mean, it makes him like the Night King or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of crazy. But I mean, that's in a sense the type of role he's playing.
Mhm.
Um, you know, he is connected with the dead in some way.
He wouldn't admit that. The
You're
dead are
probably
no friend of
right.
mine.
Who, me? What?
Yeah. No, never. I don't even know the dead.
I didn't do nothing with no dead people.
Mm-mm. Anybody who says they did something with dead people is a liar.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Um,
was. I think he had some, to a certain degree of self denial, but maybe a certain degree of just, you know, not not wanting to admit it, or just not knowing
mhm.
what he was. You know, I mean, you get thrown into a cave and you come out and like, well, you know, I don't know what I can do. I'm not doing anything. I didn't mean to claim people. I guess it's that idea that maybe some of his powers are passive.
Mhm.
Maybe he did bring Saeed back, but like he didn't mean to.
Yeah, yeah. Like he didn't. Yeah, he's not gonna take credit for
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Just like he took away Sun's ability to speak, and he claimed people, and all this stuff where he's just like, what?
Yeah, and that reminds me of when Locke couldn't speak.
Oh
And was
yeah.
that Man in Black again? Like accidentally, he did it accidentally.
Mm-hmm. Oops. Yeah, that's interesting. But he did. I mean, he did speak with Boone right afterwards. It definitely seemed like that was the Man in Black again. So it does seem like, yeah, maybe he was around and he accidentally took his voice, which is really weird. It's a weird thing to
Is
do. It's
that
a weird
is there
power.
any way we can make that make sense?
What do you mean by make sense?
Like the idea that he can affect people's
Oh,
voice.
like an explanation for why he would be able to do that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
telekinesis.
Well,
He's holding the vocal cords in place.
that would do it. That sounds ridiculous, but that
That's
would
the
work.
worst thing ever.
Yeah, like practically, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I mean, if you want a specific way, you could do that.
I also want to know how he gives people dreams.
Yeah, but I would connect that to the scanning.
Yeah, but what's the scanning?
Damn it. I mean, he can. The scanning suggests he.
Oh, that's right. It's the scanning is like electromagnetism. We talked about this, and so like he's used. It's like a CAT scan, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like getting pictures and images.
It seems also like that should be connected to consciousness, because like he's
Yeah.
he's reading people's minds to some extent, and if he is pure consciousness, like maybe he has some ability to access the consciousness of others, and like the medium would be electromagnetism, but I
Mhm.
think it makes sense that he would do that, and dreams are a form of consciousness too. Uh,
Yeah. Well, and then your thoughts are electromagnetism.
Signals and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that's how he would do it.
Mhm.
And again, like I'm not 100% sure if he even fully understands that he's doing it.
If he doesn't know that he's doing the dreams, then I'm really like, oh, that's crazy. Or if it's just like that, what he says in the dream is what he's thinking, and that just gets
Mhm.
broadcast, and people just pick it up like an antenna, and then they interpret it in some way. But sometimes the dreams are like really specific.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He should know about the dreams, but I do wonder. I mean, no one ever confronted him about it.
If you can make people dream, I mean, like, what a power that is.
Yeah, 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 it's too bad. I that was something I really wanted them to bring back later in the series, and to like I mean, even if it's like confusing and frustrating like most of those scenes are, to have like a final word on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the dreams are pretty much over. I think the cabin one. I mean, I
Yeah.
think and then there is the one with Kate where he sees Claire, um, which seems like to me it seems like maybe it also comes from the Man in Black.
Mm-hmm.
Um, reaching off the islands, but that's it. Um, and yeah, obviously Locke dies,
Mm-hmm.
and there's never really an opportunity for anyone to say. And it was something I remember wanting to see in season 6. Like he can manipulate people's dreams. Like why aren't we seeing that occasionally?
Yeah, I was just thinking that would have been, a different TV show could have done a whole big thing, a whole big gambit where we go through season 6 and, Man in Black looks like Locke and he's trying to get off the island and, the Losties want to get rescued and stuff and all this. And then you could reveal that, like, it's all one big dream. Like, if they, he's just trying to get them to kill themselves or something, or like,
Yeah.
mentally kill themselves,
Yeah, yeah.
and so they cut, and all the Losties are really just like asleep on the ground, and he's like controlling them and with inducing dreams to where they think it's real.
Yeah, like that's scary and
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Which is like that's why Jack had that superpower punch because he was dreaming. That's why, like, you just like explain everything.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's interesting actually. Um it's because I mean I just feel like there's no, at least for some of the dreams, like there's just no way it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And so if he had that power, it's weird that he just stops using it when it seems like it maybe could have been the most useful,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And yeah, no one ever talks about it.
Who all saw dreams though? Maybe it's only certain people who are susceptible.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was mostly Locke. I think
Hmm.
Echo had one.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously,
Didn't Claire had
they're
one?
both. Yeah, Claire had one. That's true. That's true. And it did seem like hers was. And there's a thing with the Man in Black and Claire. It's a whole story there.
Yeah.
Um, and then Kate's dream also involves Claire. So, but
Yeah.
I think with Kate's dream, she doesn't. I don't think she has any reason to suspect that that's Man in Black related.
Yeah.
you know. I probably in her mind it's that's just her mind, because she's thinking about Claire.
Yeah.
It's logical. I guess that's the thing about uh the like Echo's dream. He sees Ana Lucia and she's shot before he knows about it.
Hmm.
And in Locke's dream, like he sees Horace and gets this information that like he had no way of knowing.
Yeah.
So those are things where it's like the dream has to have an external source.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, it's like in Stephen King's like It or The Stand or Dark Tower, whatever. Like dream manipulation is a huge thing, and it's clear that they mess around with it, But it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like they wanted to, get too specific about it or really like address
Hmm.
it directly. They wanted to use it, but not really talk about it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if somehow he lost the ability to do the dreams or something. Maybe. Do we see when is the latest we see a dream?
I think it's if you count Kate's dream, I think it's that. If it's not that, it's the cabin dream, both from the end of this season, for season 4.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
I don't
Hmm.
think there are any dreams in season 5 or season 6, at all. which is kind of
Yeah.
surprising. I think the closest thing we get to a dream in season 5 is, the Walt thing, which we talked about, which is, it's off screen, and like I still don't
Well,
really know what to think about it, but that could
yeah.
just be a Walt thing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking he does start Man in Black does start getting busy with his loophole.
Yeah. He's
So
too
maybe
busy.
he's
I'm
too
too busy
busy.
for dreams.
He's like, I gotta sleep at night. I can't be busy giving people dreams. I'm tired. I've been scheming all
But you're
day.
right, though. Once season 5 kicks off, that's basically when his loophole plan starts.
Hmm.
So, yeah. He's like doing stuff on screen a lot of the time for season 5 and season 6. So, I mean, still though. But yeah, on the other hand, you're right. I mean, maybe that's, maybe that's all it comes down to.
That's a good T-shirt. I want that T-shirt. It just says, "On the other hand, you're right." No context.
Like he was really occupied, and the dreams came at times when it didn't seem like he was doing anything else.
Uh huh.
You know.
Occupy Elm Street. um. Yikes. A weird mix.
That is a really weird.
Would Freddy Krueger and Man in Black be friends?
I don't know. I probably not, because I feel like Freddy Krueger knows he's evil and relishes it,
Mm.
and I think Man in Black believes he was wronged and he's
Well,
not
what if
evil.
what if Freddy Krueger helps Man in Black understand how evil he is, and it's like evil villain therapy.
I guess that could work. I guess that could work. He's just like Freddy Krueger's just like revenge, but I totally did the thing. And like Man in Black's like, hey, like I was just trying to get off this stupid island that I
Hmm.
never should have been on in the first place. Like, and she
Yeah,
killed my whole fucking camp. It's
yeah,
not like I was murdering children, you know? Like,
yeah.
get off my back. But yeah, that would be interesting. 'Cause yeah, I mean, I think it's an open question how evil he is.
Hmm.
I mean, he certainly does some evil things, but a lot of characters on the show do evil things, and we don't necessarily think they're evil.
Yeah, for sure. I think Ben has done more dastardly things than Man in Black.
Yeah, certainly that we know about.
Yeah, I mean, Ben killed Locke in cold blood.
Yeah,
He just tried to shoot Charlotte.
yeah, 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 definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, Man in Black probably killed the Ajira passengers. He manipulated people throughout his life and killed some people.
Though it's also possible that Widmore killed the other passengers.
Oh, that's right. I think that was the theory. Whitmore did it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. No, it's the theory. Whitmore did it, and then he killed Echo. Uh, he killed the
I mean, he killed the
pilot.
Black Rock people.
Yeah, he killed the Black Rock people.
He killed the pilot.
Yeah,
I mean, he
definitely
killed
some murder. Definitely murder.
he killed Danielle's team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
he killed a lot of people with no good reason.
Ben did the purge.
Yeah, Ben did the Purge. That's a big
He
one.
killed him just like a whole society.
Yeah.
I mean,
He blames that on Widmore, though, I think.
why? How?
I think he's going to say that later in this season. I think
Oh, you just mean he says Whitmore did it.
he's going to insinuate that it was Widmore's idea.
Oh, that was his idea.
Yeah, and his plan. And that Widmore was the leader at the time.
Oh, I see.
And so it was ultimately Widmore's call. And that is true in terms of the evidence we're given. We see that the exile of Widmore happens when they're in the barracks, which is definitely after the purge.
Mm-hmm.
So Widmore probably was the leader when the purge happened. That doesn't necessarily mean it was his idea.
Yeah, I
You
always
know,
thought the purge was Ben's idea so he could get in good with the others.
I think we're left to wonder because they don't show it on screen, like whose idea it actually was, and obviously Ben is like the least trustworthy. It's a good example in this episode where if we hadn't had the scene with Miles where he's like, "We're looking for Ben," and then Ben's like, "They're here for me," I would have been suspicious.
Yeah,
You know, because
yeah.
anything he says, it's like, you know, sometimes it's true, but you never know because like he's
And it still,
always manipulative.
yeah, it still sounds suspicious because you're like, why would, who wants you? Why would anybody
Yeah,
want?
it raises a lot of questions, which they don't, you know,
Yeah.
they don't really get to yet. I guess that's coming. But yeah, I think the purge is left. I mean, he certainly executed the purge, whether it was his idea or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he allowed it to happen. I mean, he had Saeed kill all those people, though they were all
Yep.
bad or something.
Even the golfer.
Yeah, the golf. He was a bad guy. That golfer. He
Mm-hmm.
was gonna after that round of golf. He was gonna go kill the Oceanic Six.
He was always putting over par. That's my golf terminology. Uh, all right, cool. Well, yeah, pretty good episode. I'm looking forward to this season. I remember it being super fun and just a lot. I mean, this episode alone was like 20 crazy things happening
Yeah,
on top of each other, and like nobody knows the whole story about any of it.
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a whirlwind season, definitely, and like the writer strike hasn't even happened yet, and it's already
Hmm.
like pretty fast paced, and they're giving us a lot of new stuff to think about. You know, I think yeah, the only reason it isn't mythological is because like a lot of this stuff is just personal stuff about the characters. You know,
Yeah.
that we more or less find out later.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, until next time, thanks and namaste.
Namaste and good luck.